It's football time in the bluegrass. My name is Coleman Scott. I'm joined by Brad Hari tonight for a special edition of Talkin Kentucky, where we're going to talk a lot of college football tonight because it's just around the corner. In fact, it's already started with week 0, but the real season starts now because it's week 1.
Right.
And Brad, I haven't seen you since we kicked Louisville's ass in the Governor's Cup. I hope you're doing well.
That is true. It's been a long time since I've been on and haven't really seen you around. I mean, on shows and stuff. So it has been a while. It was fun kicking Louisville's ass. At least that was fun.
Oh, it's always fun. That happens on a regular basis. So it's getting less fun because, it's just they're a defenseless punching bag now. So, you can't really enjoy it.
Brom's doing a little better with them, but we still pulled out the win on the road. So, that was fun.
Hey, yeah, and we're gonna do it again this year, and we'll get into that a little bit later. But Brad, how you doing? It's good to see you. It's college football's here. It was a long summer, I feel like.
It was. It seems like it felt like a long summer to me as well. I mean, super excited. It's actually there's games going on right now. I've got a TV on going right over here. I've got the Western Carolina NC State game going right now, and kind of watching it a little bit. So if you see me turn my head, that's what I'm doing.
Okay, but I need to get a little setup going here. I need to get some split screen going so I can watch all these games.
Too, man. I need to get some split screen stuff going too. But it's good to be with you, Coleman. I always enjoy doing these football shows with you. And maybe we can do a few more different things this year or whatever. We are on College Sportscast tonight. This is the first time we are kind of doing this together, both of us. So if you are on College Sportscast, you'll notice in the comments over there, it says College Sportscast. You can send stars and help support us. That is from College Sportscast. That's from my account. And that is the reason why that is showing up. You don't normally see that here at Talkin Kentucky, but since I am broadcasting this on College Sportscast, we are on Facebook and YouTube, College Sportscast tonight as well. So just wanted to throw that up there for you since I thought maybe your guest would be like, oh, what's that?
So we're doing the dual stream. We got that going on, and this would be as good a time as ever to plug our post-game shows, Brad. So this year, just like last year, we're going to do post-game shows for every single Kentucky football game. So it's going to be the Talkin Kentucky College Sportscast post-game show. So you can expect after every single game. Might not be always right after the game. But
sometimes we're an hour or two after the game just trying to get everything set and everything ready and everybody together. And that kind of stuff as well. But we will be doing, they're fun to do, especially after wins. Occasionally they're a little challenging when you get your butt beat, but I think you'll agree with that, right, Coleman?
Oh, I'll definitely agree with that. Yeah, we had a couple tough ones last year, after Tennessee, Missouri,
the Georgia game. It was like, it's like, what do you talk about? I mean, we just got I'm talking demolished. What was it, like 61 to something? I don't know, 13 or something like that.
Yeah, something like that. Yeah,
I don't know, something like that.
Hopefully that won't happen again this year. Hopefully we'll have some more joyful post-game shows. So, so we'll see. But hey, if you don't know, of course, we're talking Kentucky. And my usual co-host he's taken the Matt Jones vacation days lately, it seems like. So Caden Holmes, my co-host, is in Hawaii right now. He'll be back on the show next week. I think we'll have to tell everybody, kind of reintroduce him and tell everybody who he is because people may have forgotten he's been gone so long. But, but Brad here has his own show, College Sportscast. So, if you haven't followed them, go check them out. Go follow them. And if you're watching a College Sportscast, you never heard of Talkin Kentucky, go follow Talkin Kentucky.
Yeah, absolutely. we are really good friends, and we help support each other. We've been doing this basically from the beginning. We both are in our, I guess you're going to say this is the start of our third year for both of us. Coleman started Talkin Kentucky
right after we lost to St. Peter's. So
two or 3 months before I started College Sportscast. Somewhere around there. But so we're excited to be able to do this together this year, fully together. We did do these shows last year, the post games that he was talking about, football. But this time they're going to be on both College Sportscast and Talkin Kentucky. And we are kind of upping our game just a little bit.
Using our technological advancement there. So that's going to be great. Yeah. Well, let's say hi to some of our viewers down here in the comments. We've got, as always, Clyde Hare.
What's up, Clyde?
In the comments saying what's good. So we got Clyde down
was
there.
The first one. He was at the beginning. Yeah.
He was. He's usually the first one. We got Madeline down in the comments saying it helps vent after those blowouts to Georgia and things like that.
It does to the fans. I will agree that it's good to get on and vent. But when you're doing the hosting and the show, sometimes you're like, what do we like? You know, when you get drilled like that, you're just like, I'm not sure exactly what we need to say, what we're going to talk about.
I absolutely agree. But like it or not, those are probably our most watched shows. Like when we get the breaks absolutely beat off of us, people want to talk about it. People want to vent and complain. So actually, like we have a lot of people on when that happens. So that's for sure. Josh Hart says, "What's up, guys? Go Big Blue." What's up, Josh? Brad?
Josh?
Do you know if Josh is still out on the road, or has he made it back?
Yeah, he is. He is. Yeah, his job is out on the road. So. Yeah, he is out on the road. Gosh, I'm going to say 90% of the time throughout the year. I mean, he's only home a couple of weeks in summer, a couple of weeks at Christmas, and a week here and there. So he's out on the road a lot.
Yeah, no, he definitely.
I can't keep up with it. Actually,
he
was in Arizona. He was in Arizona a few weeks ago, but he's not there anymore. He's somewhere else.
Yeah, he's like, I'm in Pennsylvania, I'm in Arizona.
Yeah, I'm not sure where he is.
So no telling, but hopefully he comes back in the bluegrass state soon so he can watch the Cats and everything. But Brad, let's go ahead and kick it off here. And guys, if we hope you like college football, because that's what we're going to be talking a lot about tonight, is a lot of college football. So if you're a college football nerd, this show is for you. So Josh, by the way, says he's in Pennsylvania and he's headed to West Virginia tomorrow. So there he is. So
Clyde says hello, Josh. I'm just going to throw that out there.
Yeah, Clyde says hello, Josh. Yes.
Hope you're doing good, is what he said, actually.
And then Josh says to Michigan in about a week.
So he's Pennsylvania, West Virginia, and then Michigan. Yeah. So that's why I said his job is out on the road. So yeah.
Yeah, that's a lot. But it was quite a way to kick off the college football season last week with the Ireland game. I can't remember who it was last year. It's like Northwestern and like somebody, I think last year, Brad. It was like some kind of irrelevant team. I can't remember who was over there last year. It was definitely Northwestern.
It was Northwestern, but I will say this. Oh, it was Notre Dame. It was Notre Dame.
Oh, how do you forget them? In Ireland.
It was either last year or the year before they were in Ireland.
Mm-hmm.
I might be wrong. It might have been 2 years ago. Notre Dame was there.
I think it was, because I think last year was the first year that they did that Ireland thing, which seems so random. Like to have a college football game.
It's actually a really fun game in Ireland. Like they fill that stadium. It holds about 50,000, and the stadium is aerodynamic and new, and like it's really a cool stadium. And they fill the street and do college game day there. It's a pretty cool event, actually. Now, if you're a team and you got to fly to Dublin, Ireland, and then come back and play football the next week, like Georgia Tech's doing, you know what I mean? Like it's a tough tough deal,
Well,
really.
that's the excuse that Florida State fans use after
Yeah.
losing. They're like, well, try to fly to Ireland and then try to throw a football. It's like, well, I guess
Yeah.
Georgia Tech.
Well, I mean,
Yeah.
Georgia Tech must have swam. I don't know.
Yeah, they swam over there. Yeah, that's
Yeah.
right. Which is
Right.
arguably more exhausting. Yeah. We
I don't
got
know.
somebody you know well in the comments here, John Hammond, saying, "OMG, who is that ugly guy on the screen?" So I don't know if he's
What's
talking
up,
about you or
Evans?
me, but
Yeah.
John will probably be on. Say John is, if you don't know, Brad's co-host on
College
College
Sportscast.
Sportscast. So
Yeah.
he'll be on some of our post game shows with us, if not all of them. So it'll be good to have him on for sure.
Yeah, he's pretty good with the football knowledge as well. John is. So yeah, he's going to join us as well.
But let's keep talking about this this Florida State Georgia Tech game. I think everybody and their mother had money on Florida State, but Georgia Tech goes in, beats them on a last-second field goal. I mean, what a way to kick off the college
It was a
season.
great game, first of all. I mean, it was back and forth. It was close at halftime. It was close the entire second half. If you love football, to have that as the first game to come back to, like, Florida State kicked a 59-yarder at halftime.
I know, right?
You guys, like, if you were watching
Yeah.
it, they kicked the 59-yarder at halftime to go.
Yep.
I think they took the lead at halftime with that field goal, I believe. And then Georgia Tech kicks a 47-yarder or 44-yarder or whatever it was to win the game at the end. So the game was fantastic.
You couldn't have asked for a better game to kick it off.
Absolutely, Madeline. We cover all college sports. We do a little bit more towards SEC, and then I do some covering of some Kentucky media coverage now as well. I am covering Kentucky volleyball and Kentucky women's basketball as media.
Right.
So
so Madeline, for our listeners, podcast listeners, Madeline's asking, does College Sportscast cover basketball too? Yes, they do. They cover just about everything. I mean, is there anything you don't cover?
No, we cover baseball. We do. I have a guy that is a big, John Roberts is his name, and he helps me cover the college baseball season as well. We go from August all the way till June. And we cover football, basketball, and baseball. We do some women's basketball as well, like I said. And I am now picked up women's volleyball, Kentucky women's volleyball, as media. So I'm doing a little writing and covering that as well. And they had a big game on Tuesday night in Louisville.
Now, you remember when I was on your show the first time, I think John Roberts was on with us. He's an Auburn guy. Is that right?
He is.
Okay.
He covers Auburn baseball. He's credentialed for Auburn baseball.
Oh, okay.
John Roberts.
I didn't realize that. Well,
yeah.
So I was on that show with you. I think you were asking me about the Auburn and LSU game, which I proceeded to try to have an analysis of. I have a confession, Brad. I don't think I ever told you. I didn't watch a snap of that game. I totally just winged it on that. I mean, I was looking at the box score in front of me, and I was like, you look at this game, it's all in the numbers, right? It's all in the numbers. So,
right,
I didn't know anything about but you don't have to know anything to talk about Auburn football. You can just wing it and talk about it.
Well, he's an Auburn graduate as well, so he's a big Auburn fan, huge. Okay. And he covers Auburn baseball for us as well. So as media, so we're getting into the media world. It's slow. I enjoy covering the women's game. I actually am an ex-AAU coach for the girls and middle school ball, and done a lot of stuff with that. My sisters played, so I enjoy the women's game. And the women's game, basketball, is getting a lot of hype now, as well. So,
and hey guys,
I just saw the questions over here, so I wanted to make sure I threw that in there.
Oh yeah, no, absolutely. Yeah. Hey guys, if you don't mind, go ahead and help us out by sharing this video, and do the whole thing of liking and subscribing and commenting and all those things on our stuff. That really helps us out, helps us get in the algorithms, as the kids say these days. So it helps us get into those things, like it or not.
What's up, Cody?
Figure that out. So Yeah, we got Cody Peebler down here in the comments. I got everybody in here now. So but Clyde says he's so happy that Florida State lost. Yeah, I mean, after all the complaining about them not getting into the college football playoff, then they proceed.
I still am going to say to you, Coleman, an undefeated Power 4 team should have been in the playoff.
So you're of the belief that they should have, but you think they should have been in the playoff last year.
An undefeated Power 4, Power 5 last year team should have been in the playoff. Yes. I just now who do you throw out and all this other stuff? And that's hard to answer too. There was only 4 spots. I get it. But if I am Florida State or a Florida State fan, I'm pissed off, just to be honest.
Yeah.
Think about if you were a Kentucky fan and your team went undefeated. Now, it wouldn't happen in the SEC. I get that. But if Kentucky played in another conference and went undefeated and then got snubbed,
we would do the same thing.
We'd all be pretty pissed.
Yeah, we would be pretty pissed. That's for sure. Yeah. But I mean, to be fair, that's not going to be a problem anymore because we got the 12-team playoff,
which is great. And I'm so loving where the college football game is on that front. Now, there's some things with these West Coast teams and the ACC, and there's some things going on that I think is a little nonsense. But but as far as the 12-team playoff, I'm so excited for it. I can't wait. Matter of fact, I mean, even a team like Kentucky
has a chance now.
Could have a shot.
Even this year with the schedule that we had, you look at a team like Missouri, they really have a chance because they have an easy, road to the playoff. They have an easy schedule this year.
They do have a much easier schedule than we do. So, and they went 11-2 last year. I mean, they would have made it last year. If there was a 12-team playoff, they would have made the 12-team field last year. Missouri.
Well, you look at the 2 years that we've gone and won the Citrus Bowl, right? You look at when we played Iowa with the Will Levis year, and you look at 2021.
Yep.
And then especially in 2018 when we beat Penn State.
18, we were close. We wasn't quite in that 12 spot. I want to say we were like 15.
We were like 13. I think we were like 13.
15,
I mean,
13.
we were right on
We were right there. But we would not have made it, but we would have been very close to making it that year.
Well, and I think it would have been between us and Penn State. The Citrus Bowl is kind of like that first bowl outside of the New Year's Six. So it's like it would have really been up to the committee with who had the better win, and the fact that we got beat by a bad Tennessee team that year wouldn't have helped us, I don't think. Right. So Penn State may have gotten the edge, but, you look at those 2 years, we would have been in contention. I think. And even in the 21 year, I think we were like 18 or something like that. Mm-hmm. In the 21 year. And I'm not talking about in the polls. I'm talking about in the college football playoff rankings, which is what matters. That right. And the thing that's kind of weird about that, Brad, is the seeds aren't necessarily going to line up with the rankings. No, they're not. No, and so the top 4 teams, the top 4 teams are going to be conference winners, power conference winners. Mm-hmm. So if Utah wins the Big 12 and they're ranked 12th, they're going to get a 1, 2, 3, or 4 seed. They won't get the 1, but I mean a 3 or 4 probably seed. If so, and also the 5th conference comes from the group of 5, and the highest ranked team is going to get not the 5th spot but the 12th spot. They're guaranteed a spot. But what that means is that the highest ranked team is 25th in the country, and it's like Memphis or Boise State, and they're not in the power conference, and they win their conference, then they're going to get in the college football playoff. So it could be the 20th team or the 25th team. So it's not going to be necessarily the top 12 teams in the rankings in that order. And, how awesome are those home first round game's going to be. I mean, that's going to be awesome.
I can't wait. You have no idea, man. It's going to be that atmosphere. It's going to be just so rich with pageantry and traditions, and it's going to be a blast. I cannot wait for those 4 first round college football playoff games.
It's going to be awesome.
And teams 5 through 8 get home games. That's what I'm talking about. So if you are in 5 through 8, you get a home game in the college football playoff with all the tradition and all the pageantry, and you get to go and you get to tailgate at a playoff game, and that atmosphere, it's going to be insane.
Now, I call me crazy, but I might honestly rather have that than be one of the top 4 seeds. I mean, I know you have to play one less game, but I mean, I'm just would be jealous of those teams if I was in the top 4, right? Like, I would want that experience of playing a home.
It's going to be really, really fun. That opening round, I think I'm going to enjoy it just as much as, the championship game. Really.
It's going to be awesome. You think we're going to have bracket competitions, bracket challenges for the college football playoff?
I actually think we will. Yeah. I think we'll start having college football playoff madness, or whatever you want to call it. The bracket stuff. Yeah. I think we will. Now, I mean, it won't come out until the teams are locked in, of course, but yeah, I think we will.
Madeline is asking, where were we when we had Will Levis? Yeah, the year we went to the Citrus Bowl, played Iowa.
That's the year I was talking about in 21. I think we were about 18th in the college football playoff rankings that year. We were a little bit behind where we were in 18. I think we were about 18th, Madeline, if I remember right. Now, I'm a little older. My memory's not quite as good as it used to be, but it's in that ballpark.
So we got a lot of stuff that we could get to tonight. So we've got Kentucky. We obviously want to break them down. We could talk about who we think some conference champions are going to be. We got to talk about week 1 predictions. Brad, where do you want to start? I'll leave it up to you. You're the guest here.
I mean, I'm anxious to talk a little bit of Kentucky football with you. So let's start there, I guess.
Let's do it.
The season, I'm going to be honest with everybody. I think this Kentucky team has more talent than even some of those teams that we have been talking about in 18 and 21. I think across the board, I mean, if you look at just the defensive side of the ball on this team, they're claiming that we returned 10 starters. Now, they filled in a spot or two where we had some injuries, and that's how it became 10, because we did lose a couple on that side of the ball, Trevin Wallace and Andrew Phillips. But they are claiming that we returned 10 starters, okay? Then they have added Pop Johnson, Dumas Johnson, from the former All-American, college football 2022 All-American from Georgia, a national champion, by the way, 2-time national champion. Then we've added DJ Waller, a cornerback from Michigan last year, who was a national champion. And then we've added Christian Story, who is a 4-year player for Nick Saban in Alabama and won a national championship in 2020.
Do you think it's possible that this is Stoops' most talented roster?
I do. That's what I'm saying. So just on the defensive side of the ball, Coleman, I feel like there is a possibility that we could have 3 or 4 All-Americans on the defensive side of the ball. You take Deion Walker, you take Maxwell Harrison, you take Pop Johnson. Jamin Dumas Johnson is his name. Pop is his nickname. You take those.
We had some good Jamins on the defense over the years. Jamin Davis.
You take JJ Weaver.
I forget he's still on the team. JJ Weaver has been on the team for like 20 years, but that's okay with me.
Sixth year. It's his sixth year, to be honest.
Awesome.
I memean, he redshirted one of those, so he's playing 5, I think.
Right.
But,
but still,
But he's been there 6 years. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And I mean, there are plenty others. De'Eric Jackson, the other linebacker, is going to be there, possibly that could be. And I'm not saying he's going to be first team, but he could certainly be second or third team. And I'm not saying that these are all first team. I'm saying down the line, these could be All-Americans, either first, second, or third team. That's how good the defense is.
So do you think, I mean, obviously this is going to be the most talented roster, right? But we've seen that the talent doesn't always translate to success on the field. I mean, look at Florida State.
It doesn't.
Right?
Actually, in 2022, I thought we had, when Will Levis and Chris Rodriguez and all them come back in 2022, I thought we had quite a bit of talent on that team, and I thought we were going to be better than we were. Of course, Levis got hurt, missed a game or two, played 2 or 3 games hurt, and it made a difference in that season. So health is definitely, I mean, there's nothing you can do about that. Health is definitely going to be an issue if we start getting some injuries and that kind of stuff. So, all right, Mike, I knew somebody was going to bring up the offensive line. All right.
And just to interject here, that's my biggest concern, Brad. So this is something I wanted to pick your brain about, because I feel like the past few years, it's like if we just had an O-line, we could win 9-10 games.
It has been. I did not like the offensive line coach. I actually said last year that they should have fired him. I'm very glad that he brought back Eric Wolford this year. I don't think Stu's done it right. I think he really should have handled that better. But I'm definitely glad that the offensive line coach was let go and that Wolford is brought back now.
But Wolford, though, like, didn't he kind of leave on a sour note? Wasn't he recruiting for Alabama?
He was supposed to be recruiting on a recruiting trip for Kentucky.
Right. Yeah.
But then went and recruited for Alabama and never come back to Kentucky and went to Alabama. And he was recruiting a guy who actually transferred on the team and is an offensive lineman this year that went to Florida and not to Alabama.
Mm-hmm.
Jordan Farmer is his name, and he is listed as a starter on the offensive line.
See, I'm glad you know this stuff. See, I don't know all these intricacies about like our offensive
that's
line.
The guy that he actually was on a trip to recruit, that he wound up recruiting, trying to get to Alabama, eventually went to Florida. He went on to Alabama, and now Jordan Farmer has transferred to Kentucky, and Wolford was brought back in. So now they're both here at Kentucky.
But you think he's a good coach, though? Like, you think he gets it done? Okay.
I do. He's the last coach where we had a really good line. He was the coach here on that 21 team that had a really good line. Now,
other than Schlarman, yeah.
Yes.
Other than John Schlarman. Yeah, of course.
He was the coach after Schlarman.
Yeah. Right. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So I'm going to give you a stat here.
Okay.
And I knew somebody was going to bring up the offensive line. And listen, I'm a fan too. And I totally get why there would be some apprehension here about the offensive line, because the last couple of years, 2 years ago was awful. Last year was a little better, not a lot, a little. Experience. Kentucky has their 5 starters that they have named. We got Gerald Mincey, transferred from Tennessee. Jordan Farmer, transferred from Florida. And then we got the 3 guys back that's from Kentucky. You got Marcus Cox, Eli Cox, and Jagger Burton. That's the starting 5, okay?
Yep.
The starting 5 has 143 starts of experience.
It's a lot of starts
on the offensive line.
Yeah.
It's the second most in the SEC.
Okay.
And
Next
it's
to
and it's the 9th most in all of college football.
well, who's the first in the SEC? Is it like Bama or something?
I'm not sure. And I
Actually,
figured somebody was going to.
It's probably not Bama, honestly, with all the transfers they had when Saban left.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
doubt it's Bama. Georgia's got a very good offensive
it
line.
could
It
be
might be
Georgia.
Georgia.
Yeah,
It might be Georgia because their offensive line is really good.
Now, so what you're saying is the experience is going to translate into a good O-line.
The experience is there. And we're not talking about Mincy was at Tennessee, Farmer was at Florida. We're talking about SEC experience here. Like these aren't chum guys that are, from rinky dink, whatever, coming in a transfer portal. I mean, these are experienced SEC guys with 143 starts across the 5 guys at the offensive line in their careers. Like I said, it's second most in the SEC. And I saw these stats from a Kentucky thing, and it didn't list. I didn't see the whole list of who had the most. But I wanted to bring them here because I knew I was doing this show tonight, and I knew somebody would bring up the offensive line. So,
right. So
I wanted to throw it out.
Calm your worries. So Brad is saying, calm your worries about the O-line.
I think that the offensive line with Wolford back, I think, and the experience that we have now, I think you're going to see a very good offensive line. Can we take 2 injuries and be good? Probably not.
Probably not. Yeah, the depth, is kind of a concern there.
We have some young guys in behind them that are redshirt freshmen and stuff like that. And I'm going to be honest with you. On the depth chart, if we have to, go down, Dylan Ray, who was a starter last year, filled in when Kenneth Horsey went down on the offensive line, is one of them. He's a good one that would be a backup. But you look at the other backups, and you got some redshirt freshmen and some sophomores that really hadn't played much. So it's a little thin behind those 5. I will say that.
Let's go ahead and get to another Mike question here. He's bringing all the good questions tonight. Is this year's offensive coordinator going to be as good as Cohen? Brad, he's unproven, I think, but a lot of people from Boise State were like really sad to lose him.
That's because he done a very, very good job at Boise State. He had one of the top running backs in the country last year that is coming back. I'm really surprised that he left that team, to be honest with you. Now, I'm going to give you guys another stat here talking about Bush. So Bush Hamden here at Boise State last year, this is how not only it was balanced, his offense was this balanced, but this is a high number as well. He had his offense at Boise State last year had 3,098 yards of passing offense for the season and 3,008 yards rushing on the ground. That's how balanced they were.
And that's what we need as Kentucky football. We need,
but it's 3,000. That's over 6,000. That's over 6,100 yards of offense. I'm going to tell you guys, Kentucky didn't get close to that last year.
No, definitely. And you talk about the tempo too, right? So what do you think we're going to see with the pace of play? We were the slowest team in the country, maybe next to Iowa last year, but this is kind of a no-huddle operation. It looks like he's going to run here,
and
Brad.
I'm hearing that he is going to actually, when we open Southern Miss, that he's going to script the first 15 plays, and a lot of them is going to be no huddle. That's what I'm hearing. So I'm hoping to see that. I'm hoping to see that early on in Southern Miss game here. But, the offense, you ask about Cohen. Cohen in 2021 with Will Levis and Chris Rodriguez was good, and Wan'Dale Robinson was good. The offense was good. Last year, I'm going to be honest with you, he stunk.
Yep. I agree. Yeah. I agree. And so, and he's kind of just does 1 year everywhere, it feels like. And when you don't have
Yeah.
time to develop that consistency, I mean,
He
that might be
absolutely
part of it.
stunk. The
Yeah.
offense was slow as snails, molasses running out of a jar. I mean,
Hmm.
it was terrible. He stunk last year. Bush has to be better than that, surely.
Mike's saying, who's our starting running back to start the season with Chip out already? Yeah, you already got the Ohio State guy with the broken hand. I'm going to try to say this right, Brad. Is it Dime Sumo
Demi,
Kambe? Is
yeah,
that it? Dime
Demi,
Sumo Kambe.
and he's an
DSK.
DSK is what a lot of the people call him.
Yeah.
He was an NC State transfer last year. He played with us last year, had about 20 catches in the receiving game, but didn't do a whole lot in the running game. They didn't use him in the running game a whole lot last year. But he is going to be the starter against Southern Miss. But I do believe we're going to see a actual freshman and a redshirt freshman, both against Southern Miss. James Patterson and Jamari Wilcox. Remember the name Jamari Wilcox.
No, they say I've heard a lot of guys talking about Wilcox. Yeah.
I'm just telling you guys, remember the name Jamari Wilcox. I'm not saying that he's going to lead the SEC or nothing, but what I am saying is if he gets any space at all, he's gone.
He's that fast.
He's that fast.
Are we talking Barry and Brown fast, Brad? Are we talking?
I'm not sure if he could beat Barry and Brown in a race. I'm not real sure about that. But from a running back, bigger kid, experience, from what I am hearing, Mark Stoops in a press conference the other day, or it might have been on the radio, said that he was the fastest back that he has had at Kentucky since Boom Williams.
Hey, we got Marsha Davis Wilson in the comments here. Thanks for joining us, Marsha. She says, you're right. He's totally fast. So he's already been turning some heads, Brad. And, Kentucky, we've been spoiled with running backs. We've had Benny Snell. We've had Chris Rodriguez.
Well, we had Boom before that.
We've had Ray Davis last year. So we got all these NFL backs. Brad, it's not going to be, at least I don't think it's going to be the same kind of power back.
I think it's going to be running back by committee.
Yeah. But, it might be, kind of a different scheme. Normally, it's like the Stoop style of football, right? Like everybody in the stadium knows we're giving the ball to Chris Rodriguez, and he's still going to pick up 10 yards because it's going to take the entire Georgia defense to bring him down.
Yeah.
That's not going to be what it is this year, but I think we're still going to have some balance, Brad, especially what you're talking about with Brad, with Bush Hamden, with the balance he had at Boise.
The balance he had at Boise State last year is very encouraging, I think, because you don't want to lose that running game. We're in the SEC. Like, sometimes you got to have a little smash mouth football, and you got to open some holes and you got to run right through them. I mean, that's the SEC. I'm not saying that, I want to drop back and do some RPOs and all that too, and throw some bombs. I want to see that too. But you absolutely have to have that running game and have to have that balance. Now, I don't think we're going to see a $1,400 yard back or nothing this year. I just don't. When Chip comes back, he's only supposed to miss 1 or 2 games. So he might miss the South Carolina game too, but he'll be back in a week or two. And when he comes back, I think you're going to see possibly all 4 of these guys get some playing time and maybe get 5 to 10 carries apiece in some of these games.
Well, let's talk about quarterbacks, and Mike even is kind of talking about quarterbacks down here in the comments. The hype as soon as he transferred, last summer, Brock Vandegrift from Georgia. Everybody's like, oh man, he's gonna be the guy. He might be better than Will Levis. Who knows? We saw him slinging around against Kentucky, right, when they put him in like the third quarter.
Yeah.
But
after they were up 55-3 or something,
right?
The third quarter,
and we did our sad post game show. That's right. But
yeah,
Bush Hamden's been talking about he likes Gavin Wimsatt. He might be playing two quarterbacks, Brad.
It would not surprise me if there isn't a package for Gavin Wimsatt, maybe as the Wildcat quarterback or something. It would not surprise me to see him have his own package, and Gavin get to play.
You think it's going to be like a red zone, like goal line package type thing for him, or what kind of deals you think
it wouldn't surprise me at all that I mean, it could just be a change of pace package. It wouldn't necessarily have to be goal line, but it could be used in the goal line as well. I think it's going to be more of a change of pace, and I'm not saying he's going to get out there 6 times a game for 2 or 3 plays at a time or nothing, but a couple of times in each half to kind of a change of pace, and to have a package to bring him in for 2 to 4 plays, something like that. It would not surprise me. He has been impressive in fall camp here, and it wouldn't surprise me at all if we don't see that. Now, Mike, you asked about the backup and would it be Bo Allen? I don't think it would be Bo Allen.
I don't think it would be either. On the depth chart, it says or Cutter Boley. Could be Cutter Boley.
The depth chart says Gavin Wimsatt is second or Cutter Boley. Now, I'm going to be honest with you guys. I don't think that they're going to burn Cutter Boley's red shirt. I don't see that happening. But he does get 4 games to play in. So, and a game like Southern Miss here, I mean, he's probably not going to play against Texas or Georgia unless we're just getting killed.
Which we might need him. We get a Will Levis South Carolina, a Will Levis South Carolina situation. You might need to put him in. Yeah.
And he has 4 games, but I'm going to say that they are going to, in hopes, to hold back Cutter Boley's red shirt. That would be my guess. I mean, he would get up to 4 games to play this year. I just don't see them, unless there's injuries and they have to. I mean, that's another case. But if everything goes as planned, I would say the plan is to redshirt Cutter Boley.
Okay, I'm going to give you an over-under here. Gavin Wimsatt, over-under 8 snaps in the Southern Miss game.
In the Southern Miss game?
Yeah.
Oh, you're going to do a prop bet on me right here.
Yeah, I am. This isn't even DraftKings. I just made it up. Yeah.
All right. Well, 8 snaps, Southern Miss. I'm going to go over.
Yeah, Mike's going over too. Yeah.
I think I'm going to go over.
I might too, honestly, especially like, it's the first game. We're trying to get the offense rolling and everything.
Well, if we play like we should, I think they will want to get one of the backups a little bit of playing time here, I think.
Sure.
If we're up 3 scores in the fourth quarter, or if we're up 4 scores in the fourth quarter or whatever, I mean, I think they will want to get the backups, to be honest with you, if we're up, like Clyde says here, 45-7, I mean, I think this is a game that we might see Cutter Boley get a few snaps.
Well, and that's another, that's another line that we can talk about, right? So the line, last time I checked, is set at 28.5. That's a lot of points, Brad.
It was 28 this morning. Is it 28.5 now?
Last time I checked,
it was 23.5 like 4 days ago.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it's 28.5. But
it just keeps going up.
You think do you think they cover that? Mike says 52-7.
I see. I don't feel comfortable with that.
I don't
Tell me, Mike, when has a Coach Stoops Kentucky team killed somebody and put it down their throat and beat somebody 52-7.
Hey, with Bush Hamden, with all these
When?
yards, 6,000 yards of offense.
Where is it? Because I ain't seen it for 11 years. I ain't seen it.
Okay, Josh says it's still 28. So not 28 and a half, still 28. So, that's 4 touchdowns.
I'm going to tell you guys right now, I'm a diehard, okay? But let's be honest. Opening games, sometimes we haven't looked the greatest.
Well,
matter of fact, if you guys want to get real technical here, the last time that we lost an opening game,
it was Southern Miss. Yep,
I
was there.
I'm just telling you,
I was
2016. It was Stoops, and we had a 35-14 lead, and never scored another damn point.
I was playing trumpet in the band. I was there, Brad. I saw us lose. So, I mean, I'm not overlooking Southern Miss. I hope they aren't either. So, yeah.
I hate to bust y'all's bubble, but I swear to y'all, I had to bring it up.
Now, Mike says he's got something to prove this year with his best roster. I believe our defense scores a touchdown this week. That might absolutely be true. I think we're going to get a lot of.
I think we have something to prove.
Definitely. Well, I think, as far as the defense goes, I think they are going to take some to the house this year, Brad. I think that's going to happen.
I think they will. Harrison did it last year twice in one game, the Vanderbilt game. That was fun.
That's right. But it seems like Stoops has been, and really all the coaching staff have been pretty quiet. Brad, do you think that's a good sign for us?
I think so. I know that you guys are talking about the score and talking about the defense here. You know what I'm excited to see? And I know this is going to sound strange, but I hope he gets one. I cannot wait to see Barry and Brown come out of the end zone on a kickoff. I just can't wait.
Oh, it's going to happen.
I cannot wait. He is so electric, man. I cannot wait to see him catch the ball, come out of the end zone on a kickoff. I can't wait. I'm going to be jumping up. I'm going to be on the floor. I can't wait for it, man. I can't wait.
Yeah. No, it's definitely going to happen. But well, Brad, let's get into some record predictions. I've given my opinions on this show a lot about that. So I'll let you go first. I'll let you lead it off. I don't know if you've given one on your show yet, but what do you think the Cats finished this year?
Well, we did a preview show, and I pretty much said what I think they're going to do at the end of the show. So, I'm in a toss between actually what Clyde just said there, between 8-4, 9-3. Here's my thing. I'm going to say a few things here when it comes to trying to predict this record. So there are some hurdles that Stoops has had over the last couple of years. You go through from 18 through 21, we were on an upward trend. We had 2 10-win seasons, won the Citrus Bowl twice, beat some good teams, Penn State, you know what I mean? We were on an upward trend. If you look at the last 2 years, we've lost to Vanderbilt at home 2 years ago. We've lost to Shane Beamer and South Carolina 2 straight years.
Can't happen again.
We cannot, under no circumstance, have that happen. Not only that, if you look at a couple of trends in the last couple of years, we have not been very good at home in the SEC.
No, we haven't. And
we
that's
have
surprising.
Not been good at home in the SEC. I'm telling y'all, look it up. I don't know the exact record, but it's not good. I'm telling you, it's not good.
Lost to Vandy at home.
We lost to Vandy at home. We lost to South Carolina at home. And then, of course, Georgia beat us 2 years ago, and Tennessee's beat us, and you know what I mean? So We've not been good at home. I'm telling you. Now this year,
Missouri.
SEC, we play South Carolina, Georgia, Auburn, and Vandy. That's our home schedule. I'm going to tell you guys right now, no excuses. This team has to win their home games minus the Georgia game. I'll give you the Georgia game.
Yeah.
Because they're the number one team in the country. I'll give you that Georgia game minus that game. And that brings in an Auburn team in a second year under Freeze that's going to be better. They're going to be a good team.
Yeah, you can't overlook them. Yeah.
It's not going to be an easy game, guys. That Auburn game is not going to be an easy game. That brings them into play. You absolutely have to win that game. If you do that, and you can beat the South Carolinas and the Vandies, because those games are in there, then you got 2 games out of the first 8. You got a home game against Georgia and an away trip to Ole Miss that are going to be really tough games to win, okay? Now, we've played Ole Miss pretty tight just about every time we played them in the last 3 to 10 years. We've played, matter of fact, one time we had a missed extra point and lost the game by 1.
I was also at that game. Yep.
Yeah, against Ole Miss. We've played them pretty tight. Will Levis went down there and only lost by like 4 on the road. We've played them pretty tight. So can we win that game? Man, I mean, that could change everything. Because here's what I'm saying to you guys, record-wise. 8 games in, we will be headed to the Tennessee game. We'll have a off week, and then we'll go to the Tennessee, I think. Or is it Tennessee? Or is the off week after
Vandy.
Tennessee?
It's our Vandy game is coming off our bye week.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So, but we will have 4 games left. We will be at Tennessee, home against, I forgot
Auburn.
who are.
I think it's Auburn.
No, it's a non-conference game that's not very strong.
Murray State.
Murray State.
Yeah.
Then, home against Murray State. Then we play Texas on the road and Louisville at home. So we would have 4 games left. If this team can be 6-2 after those 8 games, then there is a chance to do something special and win the 2 games at home against Murray State and Louisville and knock off one of Tennessee or Texas. If you could do that and be 9-3, there's an outside shot that you could be in the mix of that 12. I'm not saying you're going to make
it. 10-2, you're in. 10-2, you're in. But
10-2 would be, we'd have to win that Ole Miss game on the road or do the unthinkable and beat Georgia at home.
Yeah, right. Yeah. But I think, I think 9-3, you're certainly a 9-3 SEC team. You're certainly in the conversation.
You're in the mix. I really don't feel like we will make it, but I think we'll be in that 15 to 18 range if we're 9-3 somewhere, but you never know. I mean, people could knock off in front of you and, so, I mean, you never know. It could happen and you could sneak in that 11th spot because you don't get in as an at-large in the 12th spot.
So what's your prediction? We going 8-4? We going 9-3?
8-4 is an absolute must. Stoops, Morrow, this talent. I'm telling you guys.
You think that's like the floor? We got to go 8-4.
8-4 is, if you want the fan base to not be on your ass, 8-4 is the floor.
Yeah.
I'm just telling you. That means you absolutely have to win. 8-4 is the floor. All right. Now, 9-3, 10-2. is probably I think 10-2 is probably the ceiling. And that's, I mean, we play 3 of the top 6 ranked preseason teams: Georgia, Texas, and Ole Miss. And 2 of them's on the road.
I'm gonna make you a prediction though, a hot take. I don't think Ole Miss is gonna be as good as people say they're gonna be. You know, maybe they'll prove me wrong, and they will be. But Brad, I mean, like I was saying it earlier, talent doesn't always translate to a good team, and they loaded up on defense in the transfer portal. I don't think their defense, at least, is going to be as good as people think it might be. I think we're going to be able. I think our defense can win us that game. Like as good as this defense is going to be, we'll be able to put up enough points to win.
Clyde, here's what I'm going to tell you: Kentucky football has never been in a position where we could have 3 to 4 All-Americans on defense and have that stout of a defense. And at the same time, by the way, we have a 5-star quarterback, guys. Kentucky football has a 5-star quarterback, and he's getting no love and no hype. No love. Just yesterday, I seen a list of the top 50 quarterbacks, starting quarterbacks. They had Brock Vandagriff, 36th. What? He was a 5-star quarterback.
And I've seen SEC lists, Brad, that have him as 13th or 14th.
I mean,
right?
It's unreal. I don't get it. He's getting no love whatsoever. I'm going to tell you guys right now, outside of Tim Couch, when Brock Vandagriff takes his first snap against Southern Miss on Saturday night, I don't know that Kentucky's ever had that kind of talent on the field before. Ever. As with the ball in his hands, I don't know that we've had some 4-star guys, and we've done pretty well with it. I'm not saying we haven't, and we've had some good quarterbacks. And I'm not saying that Brock Vandagriff is going to be the top guy. I'm just saying from a talent-wise and grading out that talent, we've never had a 5-star guy run our team before. And if Brock Vandagriff can be the guy that everybody thought he was going to be 3 years ago coming out of high school, I mean, we're talking about a guy who committed to Lincoln Riley at Oklahoma. The quarterback wizard that's won 3-4 Heisman trophies with his quarterbacks. We're talking about a guy who then didn't want to go out west and stayed at home because he's actually from the state of Georgia and played for, I don't know, maybe the best quarterback or best head coach in the football now since Saban's gone, Kirby Smart, and won 2 national championships. I mean, Josh Woodson was a good quarterback. He wasn't a 5-star kid coming out of high school, I can tell you that.
See, but you don't think it's all hype. You think he lives up to the talent rating there.
I'm just telling you, fans, and I know there's a lot of doubters, but I'm telling you, if he can play up to that hype and he plays like a 5-star quarterback, we're talking about 5-star quarterbacks are the ones that play at USC and Oklahoma and Alabama and LSU. And, so if he can play up to that standard, I'm telling y'all right now, with this defense, 10-2 is not absolutely out of the question. It's not. Now,
hey, Brad's getting us excited over here.
But
I like it.
You got to live up to it. I mean, you can be a 5-star. We've had a few 4-star kids come in here, and we think they're going to be great. I mean, what was the guy, Drew something, that come in after?
Yeah, Drew Barker.
Barker. Barker, thank you. Drew Barker, that was a 4-star guy, top 200 or 300 kid we thought was going to be fantastic. And I'm not sure. I think he had 2 starts, got hurt, could never come back and do anything.
Yep.
I mean,
Claude's in the comments saying Georgia's dynasty's over and everything else over here. So Claude's calling some hot shots, hot takes tonight for sure. But well, so Brad, I think I officially predicted 8-4 on this show. I think
I'm gonna be honest with you. On my show,
possible.
I predicted 8-4. And my predictions is I'm trying to be as a couple of years ago, I was on the hype train. Okay. And I was under the assumption that we were with Levis and Chris Rodriguez and all that we had coming back, that we were going to just take it to the next level. Well, I'm not doing that this year, but do I think this team has that potential? I actually do. I actually do. I think this team has that potential.
And that's why I think this year is going to be different. It's because we're all tempering our expectations, including the coaching staff.
Yeah.
You know, is it not necessarily tempering expectations, but they're being quiet.
Right.
Right. They're not talking a big game or anything.
Yeah.
They're not trash talking.
Remember, even Morrow a couple of years ago kind of was talking in the off season. Yeah.
And they've been quiet.
Yeah.
Usually no noise or no news from the coaches is good news. In the Stoops era, it seems like so.
Yeah.
But so I think we're both kind of saying 8-4. Is that what we're saying? But
I'm saying 8-4. Absolute. If this team, I'm gonna tell you right now, if we start out this season and not this Saturday, but next Saturday, we fall to South Carolina, I'm going to make a bold prediction here for you, Clyde. I'm going to make a bold prediction here for you. If we fall to South Carolina, this team is going to go south pretty fast. And I also do not think that the love for Kentucky football will stay in the Stoop Stadium, if you get what I'm saying. I think that deep down, I think Stoops wants to coach a team that's going to make a run. I really do. Now, I think he wants to build it and he wants to do it here. But if we can't get there, and this is 12 years in, and we are still losing to stupid people like Shane Beamer and sunglasses, and I'm just going to say it, if we are still losing to people like that, I think he's going to have to take a step back and kind of relook at all this. And it would not surprise me. I'm not saying that he's getting fired, guys. That's not what I'm saying.
But he might call it quits.
Because I think it would take a lot for him to get fired.
Oh, yeah. No, he's never good.
All right. I'm not saying that.
Yeah.
I'm just saying I think the passion will diminish.
Is that South Carolina game the biggest game of the Stoops era? Possibly. Most important game of the Stoops era? Maybe not biggest. A lot rests on that game because of where it is in the season.
It is. I mean, there's no denying it. I mean, I've said a lot here tonight when it comes to that kind of stuff. So, I mean, Josh, I don't think he'll get fired if they go 6-6. I don't. I think it would take 4-8, just falling off the. I mean, I don't think it would happen. Now, do I think that he is going to lose a lot of his passion and desire? Do I think that Stoops really wants to have some and take some teams to the top? I do. I really do. And I think he believes he's bringing in enough talent here and has the coaches in place who have been – his defensive side has been there for years, the coaches. Now, the offense has changed year after year, and he can't seem to get that. But on the defense, they've been together for years.
And you got Brad White returning. I mean, this trio, you had Vince Marrow, the quartet of coaches.
Yeah, on the offensive side, you got Marrow that's been there the entire time.
Yeah. Well, I mean, but Bush Hampton, with the addition of him, and this is kind of an all-star coaching staff that you got, and is he now Stoops the longest tenured coach in the SEC? Now that
he is, he's actually not only the longest tenured coach in the SEC, guys. Do you know that he is number 19 on the list of the longest tenured SEC coaches ever?
At Kentucky too. I mean, let's not forget that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, only time will tell, and it all starts this Saturday. And that South Carolina game is going to be a good one. And John Hammonds, as he said in the comments, is going to be there in attendance for that one. So that's going to be. He
is going, and it is going to be a very important game for this year. Before the last 2 years, we had won like 6 out of 7 or something against South Carolina, but you got to get that monkey off your back. You cannot go 3 years in a row and lose to this. I mean, South Carolina last year was a 5-7, 4-18, and they beat us.
Yeah,
come on, now.
Can't happen. No, for sure.
Yeah.
Madeline Hodges said, "Are we going to reconvene after the Saturday game?" Yes, and we'll go ahead and do another little plug for our post game show here, Brad. Madeline, after every single game, Brad and I are going to do a post-game show. So you come here after every single football game this season.
I'll try to have a few stats for you too. I like to have some stats. So
I'll bring some highlights, and between the two of us, we'll be basically ESPN. Really,
right?
That's basically who we are. But quickly, Brad, let's transition. Let's pick some conference winners here. If you got some SEC, I mean. We going Georgia? I mean,
I did, yes. I went Georgia. I went Georgia and Texas. To be honest with you, I really feel like those are the two talent-wise best teams in the league. I do think that Ole Miss, talent-wise, is very close. Now, the question with Ole Miss is, can Lane Kiffin figure out both sides of the ball and get it done? He's great at offense, but can he figure out both sides of the ball and get it done?
If their defense is as good as everybody's saying it's going to be, I mean, it's very possible. But that remains to be seen. I'm going Georgia until Nick Saban had a great quote, which by the way, he's on College Game Day now. I think he's great at that. I think that's awesome there. But Nick Saban said, until somebody beats Georgia, I'm going to pick them. And
it's really funny. It's really funny him saying that, by the way.
Yeah, as Alabama's coach. Yeah.
Wait a second.
Beat Georgia.
Georgia is 43-2 the last 3 years, guys. Do you know who the 2 losses were to?
Alabama.
And Nick Saban.
Him
saying until somebody beats Georgia, he's literally saying, I'm the only person.
Other than me.
That's literally what he's saying. Yeah.
Which I think makes it that much.
Nobody in the country that can beat these fools. And until somebody can beat them, that's exactly what he's saying. And I think I was laughing. It was hilarious that he said that, by the way.
That makes it that much more awesome there. But Josh Hart says Coleman has Commonwealth Stadium as his background. Brad has a piano on a couch as his background. That's wild. Yeah, we got a little bit different. Brad's a very tasteful guy,
Come on in, sit down, have a drink.
Yeah, that's right. So that's right. So let's go Big 12. Brad, I don't even know who's in the Big 12 anymore. In my
preview shows for College Sportscast, I picked Utah to win the Big 12. I think the best 3 teams is Utah, Kansas State, and Oklahoma State. I think it's going to come down to those three. Of course, two will play for the championship, of course, but I think that's the three best teams. And I picked Utah to win the Big 12.
I'm going to go Kansas State, just because I think they got kind of a Missouri schedule, right? They've kind of got that schedule, easy road to the title game, and
I just love Cam Rising, and he's coming back from injury, and he won 2 Pac-12s, back-to-back Pac-12 titles. He was injured last year. He's coming back. Y'all listen for the song "Bad Moon Rising." I hear. I'm telling you, y'all listen for it. Okay. Bad Moon Rising. He's coming.
We'll listen for it. Let's go to the other Big Ten, which Oregon is in the Big Ten now. Apparently, I can't keep up with all this, but I'm going. Brad, I'll go first on this one. I'm going Ohio State. Just because I don't think Oregon's going to – I mean, everybody's picking Oregon, but I don't want to pick Oregon. I don't think they ever win anything, so I'm going to go Ohio State.
Oregon is a team that's won a ton of games without winning some big ones, to be honest with you.
That's right. Mm-hmm.
But I really like what Dan Lanning is doing here at Georgia. He left Georgia at Oregon. Yeah, I really like what Dan Lanning's doing at Oregon. He's gathering a lot of talent out there, and I love picking up Dylan Gabriel from Oklahoma as they let him, go to Oregon out there. I think he's going to be one of the best quarterbacks in the country. I know that people are saying Carson Beck and people are saying other names out there, but a name to watch for the Heisman is Dylan Gabriel. He's going to be the Bo Nix replacement at Oregon, and all Bo Nix did was have 4,500 yards of passing last year. It's possible that Oregon could come out of the Big Ten here. I think it's going to come down to Oregon or Ohio State in the championship game because they have done away with divisions as well. But, man, when you look at the roster and the talent that Ohio State has, it's hard to pick against them. I'm going to go Ohio State. But I'm telling y'all, this Oregon team could win the national title. They could.
They could. They won't, but they could. No, a lot of the game day guys are picking Oregon. That's for sure. But
yeah.
What, gosh, is there still an ACC? Are there teams? Who's in the ACC now? I don't even know.
Florida State's trying to quit. Clemson's trying to quit. It's hard to keep up with.
Florida State already quit. Yeah,
you got California in there. You've got Stanford in there in the ACC. I don't know. It's a weird ass conference right now, if you ask me. I'm gonna be honest with you. In my preview show, I done my preview show for the ACC probably about 3 weeks ago. I picked Florida State, so I will own that. They may still win the conference. I mean, who knows? But they starting out 0-1. I can tell you that, and that's not just overall. That's 0-1 in the conference. That was a conference game for them, the Georgia Tech game over there. So I'm not big on Clemson, and people are taking Miami. And I will say this. I love their quarterback. Cam Ward was at Washington State. He's passed over 6,600 yards the last 2 years, 3,000 in each campaign. He had 71 touchdowns and 14 interceptions in the last 2 years. That's pretty good for a quarterback, guys. Cam Ward is the real deal. Out of all the quarterbacks that transferred outside of Dylan Gabriel that I just talked about, I think Cam Ward could be the best. Could be. I mean, he has the best stats outside of Dylan Gabriel. So Miami could be a player in this, but NC State's playing, and I hadn't looked over there and see what the score is. NC State could be a player here. The ACC's wide WFO. I mean, honestly, Louisville could win the darn thing. I mean,
I was going to say, is it bad? Could I pick Louisville to win? Is that bad on the show? Can I pick on the Kentucky podcast? Can I pick Louisville to win? I mean, I think they'll win. I think Louisville will win the ACC and then we'll beat them. I mean, that's what I think will happen. But I like your Miami pick too, though. But I might go Louisville just to be different. I'm not saying I want them to win it. I hope they lose every game, but I think they could. I mean, it's the ACC. You could win the ACC, Brent.
I might be able to coach a winner at the ACC. Maybe
you might be able to.
I don't know about playing.
We got one more, right? We got the Pac. Pac-12. Is it the Pac? Is it the Pac-2, Pac-10, Pac? What is that?
There is no more, really. It's just Oregon State and Washington State. So no, so I did them as independents, actually. Yeah.
Okay. Well, then I guess we won't do that then because the Pac is gone.
Well, it is for now anyway. So now there is one more team out there that I think is loaded.
Okay.
And that's exactly why I told you guys that I'm surprised that Bush Hamdan left.
Boise State.
There's a team that's loaded, and that's Boise State. I really feel like this Boise State team is the favorite to get that college football playoff spot for the Group of 5 top-ranked conference winner.
Okay, well, there you go. They got the blue field. Yeah.
I think Boise State, and I'm actually really surprised that Bush Hamdan left that. They have one of the best, Genty, I think is his last name, Ashton Genty, I believe is how you pronounce it. I'm not 100% sure, but he had like 1,600 yards for Bush Hamdan last year. He's probably one of the best running backs in the country. Ollie Gordon in Oklahoma State is another one. You got the Ohio State guy. There's a couple of them, but I'm going to tell you right now, he's one of the best backs in the country. Watch out for Boise State. Now, I will say this. They play a tough schedule. So they start out the season, second game of the year against Oregon. So we'll find out pretty quick.
We have breaking news from John Hammonds. Colorado is losing to North Dakota State. Brad, I was hoping that this would happen. He says NDSU is giving them the business. I don't know what the score is. I'm just going off of John's news there. It looks like it is 20-14. We're at the 2-minute warning of the first half.
In the first half.
Yeah, it's the Buffs versus the Bison. Brad, do you think North Dakota State can pull it out in Boulder?
I have been saying all off season that I think North Dakota State could beat Colorado at home in this game. Now, I will say the last few days leading up to this, I kind of been wavering off of that a little bit. But North Dakota State is a real good team. People don't know them because they're FCS. But they're the second-ranked team in the FCS, and them and South Dakota State are the favorites to win the national championship
every year.
The FCS every year. Just about.
Pretty much. Yep.
They've won. They win national championships all the time, and they are one of the favorites. There's only 2 teams that's a real favorite, and they're one of them. I mean, they are a really good team.
Clyde says it best here. North Dakota State is the Alabama Division II college football. I mean, that's actually true. Yeah.
I mean, Montana State, South Dakota State, and North Dakota State are probably the 4 best teams year after year in that division.
Speaking of Montana State, that was another good game the other day. I watched every snap of that one. We had New Mexico State, and actually, I think it was New Mexico. Not New Mexico State.
Yeah, it was New Mexico and Montana State. And Montana State beat them. Come back and beat them.
Yeah, they didn't. I know they were down 17.
And Montana State is another one. They're either ranked 3rd or 4th in the FCS.
And they just came back and won. Yeah. So
Yeah, these teams are no slouches that are at the top of the FCS. They're really good, well coached teams. So do I think I've been telling Coleman's asked me this morning, Josh has asked me this morning. They said the spread was 9.5, 10.5. It went up, I think. I've been telling them all day long, I think it was too high. If it was me, if I was a betting man, I would have bet North Dakota State, the Bison. I think they're the Bison, right?
They're the Bison. Yeah, Bison versus the Buffaloes.
Bison.
So yeah,
The Bison versus the Buffaloes. That's a pretty
that's
cool
great.
game, actually.
That actually is. It actually is pretty cool.
I would have advertised it. That's actually a really cool, Buffalo and Bison going. Like that's pretty cool, actually.
I know. I actually like that too. But
yeah.
Hey, let's do a couple week one predictions here, Brad, as we kind of round out. Might take a couple calls too before we get out of here, but let's go. First of all, well, I mean, we won't do any tonight because they've all started already. But let's see. Let's start with Clemson and Georgia. I don't really think we're gonna have to disagree on this one very much. I think we're both gonna probably pick Georgia, but you have any strong feelings about this one, Brad? It's our first ranked matchup.
It is, and it's I think it might even be the first game that starts on Saturday, the Clemson and Georgia game, and it's going to be a really good top matchup. I think Georgia is favored by 13.5 in this game, according to Vegas as of this afternoon. That's what it was. I'm not high on Clemson. I'm just not.
Dabo's not taking any transfers ever. Yeah.
I think they're losing some transfers, but he doesn't take any transfers. What that accumulates to me is depth-wise, you are losing. They still have great guys. I'm not saying they don't. He recruits at high levels, but depth-wise, you take a little hit when you do that and don't fill spots.
Yeah.
So you do that year after year after year, and I think you're seeing why Clemson is kind of falling down the ladder a little bit. I think this game will be closer than most think because it's the first game of the year. And you really don't have any footage to watch of teams and things like that. It's a tough matchup, first game of the year. I'm going to say that the score is 31-20 Georgia.
Oh, you're going to score prediction even. So you're going Georgia. Okay.
I am 31-20 Georgia.
Yeah, it's Georgia they're a 12-point favorite on DraftKings. I'm going to say they cover because as Caden Holmes says, Georgia is Georgia. That's his famous quote on this show. But so I'll agree with you there. Moving on, we've got Penn State versus the Fighting Neil Browns of West Virginia. Penn State's only an 8-point favorite, Brad. Do you think West Virginia can pull out an upset here week one?
I would like to see Neil Brown get the best of James Franklin, just to be honest with you. It is at West Virginia, so it will be a tougher game there. West Virginia is no slouch. I think they are going to be in that 4th or 5th range out of the Big 12. They are a pretty decent team. They went 9-4 last year. However, I think I'm going to take Penn State in the 8 points in this one.
Yeah, I'm gonna take Penn State too. Unfortunately, I'm not the biggest James Franklin fan in the world, and I am a big Neil Brown fan, but no, I don't think so. I think Penn State kind of runs away with that one, even though it's at West Virginia. Next one, Brad, and this is my lock of the week. I'm not, if I do a lock of the week, which I wasn't planning on doing that, but this is my lock of the week here. Miami at Florida. Miami is only a 2.5-point favorite. I think Florida is going to be terrible this year. I'm hammering Miami in that. I think they win handily.
I got to give you a hold up sign on that just
You're
for a
giving me
second.
a hold up. Okay.
Well, the reason why I'm doing it is actually this evening, tonight, I saw a report that their running back that injured his knee at the very first of fall camp has been cleared to play. Montrell Johnson, I think is his name.
Oh, Florida's
running back. He is cleared to play, and he is one of their better players. So I think that's going to be a big deal for them. It is at the Swamp.
They're going to need more than a running back.
And I'm going to tell you right now, this is a huge game for Florida and Billy Napier.
Yeah.
Huge.
Mm-hmm.
This game is huge. You look at their schedule, to be able to win at home in the Swamp against Miami in the state. They have a 3-game rival down there with Florida State, UCF, and Miami on their schedule this year. To get that win would be absolutely huge for this Florida team. I'm telling you, if they lose this game, this could be a long season for the Florida Gators.
I don't see how they're going to go 500, Brad. I think they're over/under win totals like 4.5. So, and a lot of people taking the under.
A long season for the Florida Gators, and unfortunately, here, if I'm going to take Miami and switch up and take Miami, Miami's got to win this game, and I think with Cam Ward that they can. I really do.
Let's see, a lot of lopsided games here at the beginning of the year. One that might be kind of interesting here, Notre Dame at Texas A&M, the old Duke coach, which I can't remember his name, making his debut there.
Mike Elko.
Mike Elko, that's right. It was almost.
And to be honest with you, you may not know this, but the starting quarterback for Notre Dame, his name is Riley Leonard, and he was the starting quarterback.
Yeah.
He was the starting quarterback for Mike Elko at Duke the last 2 years.
I'm going an upset week 1. I think Mike Elko beats his old quarterback, and I think there's something about Kyle Field. I don't know. It's like people go there.
Notre Dame. I'm going Notre Dame, man.
Oh, well,
what's the spread? What's the spread on this game?
It's 3, and Texas A&M's a 3-point favorite over Notre Dame at home. Yeah.
So you're telling me I can get Notre Dame and get 3 points?
You're taking Notre Dame. You're taking the luck of the Irish.
I think I'm going to take the Irish.
Okay. Well, we'll agree to disagree on that one. I'll go ahead and take the Aggies there. We already know that we're going to, Kentucky's going to beat Southern Miss, so we don't need to, discuss that one anymore. But let's see. Let's look some other. The big one on Sunday, which I don't like that they play this game on Sunday, LSU and USC.
Can Brian Kelly finally win an opening game? That's all. That's what I want to know.
Well, Nick Saban said until somebody beats Georgia, he's not going to pick them. And until Brian Kelly wins the first game of the season, I'm not going to pick him. So I'm going USC.
That's the way I feel almost. But USC, they can't. I mean, unless they have changed a lot, they can't play a lick of defense. I mean, I could run around out there and do what they do, and I'm 50 years old, or close to it.
To be fair, LSU couldn't play a lick of defense last year, so I know they got the new coordinator and everything.
This game could be 65-64.
It could be. Could be like that old Texas A&M LSU game be in the 70s. Could be like a basketball game.
I mean, seriously. Good grief. What's the spread?
On that one, we got LSU as a 4-point favorite.
Now, this game is a neutral site game.
The over-under on points is 64.
Well, I tell you for sure, take the over.
I'm taking the over on that all day. Yeah.
Take the over. That you talk about lock of the week. Right
Yeah.
there's lock of the week right there. These two defenses, shit. 64 on those offenses. It should be like 80, 84.
Yeah. No, I agree with you there.
And
Boston,
I want to take LSU in this game, okay?
Yeah.
But everything in me says no.
Yeah, I'm going USC.
So I guess I'm going USC, which I don't even like that.
Yeah, I don't either. But
at all.
That's what's going to be. Boston College at Florida State. You think the Seminoles bounce back, or you think the dumpster fire commences there in Tallahassee?
I told you I bring y'all stats. I saw this stat yesterday, and it kind of blew my mind. Mike Norvell, the head coach of Florida State, when he had Jordan Travis as the starting quarterback at Florida State, his record was 29-9 with Jordan Travis as the starting quarterback. Without Jordan Travis as the quarterback, he is 2-9 as the head coach at FSU. 2-9, guys. Like, that's insane. So you're asking me, do they bounce back? Boston College is not a great team. It's at home. Now, it's like a 16.5-point spread, I think, something like that.
Yep, you nailed it. Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's what it is. So I still say, give me Florida State. They should win this game by 3 touchdowns at home. I say, give me Florida State.
Our audience is saying Boston College. Clyde says Boston College by 14. Josh Hart says FSU back-to-back losses. You know, who knows? So,
dude, DJ, you need to get a job.
DJ, I mean, that's easier to say than his actual name. I don't know how else people say that.
Oh, me. Stop it, Clyde.
Yes. Clyde's out of control tonight. No, that's all good. But hey, that's your week 1 predictions here. We've been going a long time, but you know, that's what you need to do. Week 1 of football. You know, we're excited, Brad, to get back into it. But you know, we will kind of go ahead and round out the show here, but don't want to get out of here without taking a couple calls. So call us if you so desire. 502-234-1504. Tell us your score predictions for the Kentucky game this weekend. Brad and I will give you ours before we leave. Just any other college football thoughts, you know, those kind of things. So give us a shout if you so please.
I'm going to leave you. I want to talk to you while I have you on. Oh, you getting a call already? All right.
Let's take this call. Yeah, I know already. But the phone lines are hot during football season, Brad. But
all right.
You're on with Talkin Kentucky. Who's this?
Well, it's Clyde.
What's up, man? You ready for football? You ready for football, Clyde?
I've been ready for football. I've been ready. I mean, I'm also ready for NFL because of my Bengals, but I just been ready for football. You know, even though we had Georgia Tech versus Florida State last week, which was a great game. Like, I mean, Georgia Tech just, you know, don't let the score dictate of how bad Georgia Tech really out physical Florida State. I mean, they just absolutely out physical them in possibly every single way. And
yeah,
Georgia Tech's quarterback, he's actually a really good quarterback. I remember him at Texas A&M at King, and I think he's way better than Florida State's quarterback. I mean,
he's King, yeah, he is.
Is he an NFL prospect? Probably not. But honestly, he's not a bad quarterback, and I actually do like him. So
I completely agree, man. Yeah, he was kind of
biggest problem with Georgia Tech, Clyde. is their schedule. If you look at their
Yeah, I
schedule,
mean,
they have a pretty tough schedule.
He did what
Yeah.
he did what he needed to do to get them in position to win the game. And I honestly thought he did very well. And I think Georgia Tech might have a decent year. I think they will. I mean, they had an all right year last year. I think they'll be better this year, honestly. That was a huge win for them this past Saturday, and you got to give credit to their coaching as well. The way their coach came up with the offense to get them in position for Haynes Key to get him comfortable, and you just got to give him credit, man. You really do.
Well, man, what's your Cats prediction for this weekend? What's your you got any final score predictions locked in yet? I guess you already threw one in the chat, but I don't know if that was your serious score.
My other score prediction would maybe be like 37-10.
Okay,
but those 45-7 or 37-10 is probably my two score predictions. I'd say probably 37-10 is more realistic than 45-7, but hey, you know what? Anything can happen. But if we give up 20 to Southern Miss, I will raise my eyebrows high, and I will have very strong concerns about, our defense, especially because there's no way we should give up 20 points to Southern Miss. It should not happen, and I hope it doesn't either.
Hey, I hope it doesn't either. But hey, hopefully we'll talk to you after a 45-7 win on Saturday, Clyde. So hopefully that'll be the case. But thanks for calling in and watching as always, man. We appreciate it.
Yep, I'm going out to Shamrock, so I'll probably get home. That's probably the time that you all probably will start. What time do you guys plan on starting? Do you know yet?
Well, hopefully before midnight. So
30 minutes after.
Maybe
minutes after.
Maybe about 30 minutes after the game, yeah.
Okay, so let's see. So the game will end at what time? 10:45?
Probably so. Yeah, 10:45, 11, something like that. So, yeah.
Okay, so around 11:20, I guess.
Yeah, probably so.
Okay.
Probably around that. That's our goal anyway.
Okay, that sounds good. I'll see you all then.
Hey, we'll talk to you then. Hopefully Cats win. We got bigger problems if we don't. But thanks for calling in, Clyde.
Absolutely. Go Cats.
Go Cats. I like that 37-10 prediction. That's probably pretty realistic. I could see that though.
Jonathan Johnson, I gotta say something. Is Colorado rated?
And they're still overrated, even though they're not rated. Yeah.
I mean,
we're getting
I just wondered.
You get another call here. I think this is Josh Hart. You're on with Talkin Kentucky. Who's this?
Hey, this is Josh. What's up, guys?
What's up, Josh? Haven't talked to you in a minute. How's it going, dude?
What's up?
It's going well, man. Going well. I guess somebody said something about Colorado. They getting beat.
Colorado's getting beat. Yeah, the Bison beating the Buffs. So
20-17 at halftime.
Yeah, I called Brad today, and we talked about that a little bit. And he thought that Colorado had their hands full tonight.
Yeah, I mean it looks like the case. I mean, North Dakota State, they're no joke, man. They're, as Clyde said, they're the Alabama Division II. So that's true. But man, what are you thinking about the Cats this weekend? You got a score prediction for us?
I think it'll be about 35-10. I don't think they'll cover the 28. I just think they're struggling to do that. And again, me and Brad talking about that.
35-10
today.
Okay.
Yeah, I think that's about where it'll be. I think they'll, and I think we'll, I don't think he'll run the score up on them like that. He never has, and so I just don't think it'll happen.
Now, Josh, we've gotten some other record predictions on here. I don't know that we've gotten a Josh Hart official record prediction for this year yet. So you want to lock in your Cats final record with us?
The blue colored glass.
Well, no, we're gonna beat everybody now.
See,
12,
see,
12
you see what I said?
Yeah.
The blue colored glass.
12-0, yeah.
I like really. I'm kind of been really stuck on 9-3. I think we'll lose to Georgia, and probably Ole Miss, and probably Texas. is my 3 losses.
I like that.
I think we get Tennessee, and think we get Tennessee and Florida this year.
I think you have a very good. If those are your 3 losses, and you go 9-3, I think that you have a very good chance of getting in the playoff with that. And how cool would it be, Josh, to get in the very first 12-team college football playoff? I mean, I think that would be awesome.
Yeah, I mean, it'd be wonderful. I mean, and just to be a slap to the NCAA's face for the way they did us, taking our basically just bull crap is what they came up with. So,
the vacated wins. Yeah, that was. Yeah, I agree with you there.
But, yeah, that was there's other SEC teams that do a lot worse than what Kentucky does, and they came after us completely. It's just NCAA is just getting ridiculous.
Yeah, no, I completely agree with you there. But
we have a lot of talent, we really do. I mean, the offense is loaded. We got Barry Brown, Dan Key. We got good, solid running backs. That kid from Ohio State's a little banged up, but he'll be back, and hopefully for the South Carolina game. If not, I don't think.
Yeah,
we cannot lose to South Carolina again this year.
Well,
we can't lose with the bottom dwellers. I mean, we're supposed to be. We have the talent, man, and it just. I mean, this team's. We got, like Brad said, we got a 5-star quarterback. So I mean, when we have that much talent, we expect good results. If they really go 6-6, I was just joking about it, but if they do, then that's really very, very disappointing.
It would be, but that's not going to happen. We're gonna be positive until we can't be anymore. So yeah, no, I'm feeling it. I think this is going to be a good year, man. But hey, when you get back, in Kentucky?
Thanksgiving. I won't be home. I was supposed to go home this week for a blackout week, but I've decided to go ahead and keep working. So that's why I'm going to West Virginia for a week, and then to Michigan, and then. Schedule hold down to Louisiana, and then after that, I don't know where I'll go. So,
hey,
just all over.
When you get back, when you get back in Kentucky, it'll be that much sweeter when you get your hat. It'll be at long last. So I know it's waiting for you.
It was funny. My mom messaged me. She's like, "Hey, you got a package from Coleman Scott from Frankfort, Kentucky. Do you know Coleman Scott?" And I'm like, "Yeah, Mom, I know Coleman."
There you go. That's right. You get that hat in the mail, but yeah.
I should have told her. You get on my Facebook feed, go to Talkin, Kentucky, go to College Sportscast, follow my dudes.
Support them. Yeah, we could have got
get my mom to subscribe to the College Sportscast for 99 cents. That's all it is.
That's right. Yeah, I know. It's really not that much when you think about it. But well, man, maybe we'll talk to you on Saturday after a Kentucky win, and it's good to hear from you. And we'll talk to you soon.
Yeah, go Big Blue. We're gonna have an amazing season, and then that just will project us into a amazing basketball season. So things are going well for the University of Kentucky on both football and women's basketball as well. So I'm very excited to the direction of the programs and which way they are heading in everything. I mean, volleyball, softball, women's basketball. I mean, we're just it's something we got rid of. It's like we got rid of our dead weight with Calipari, and everything's clicking right now, and I'm very excited to see what happens.
Absolutely. Me too, man. Well, we appreciate you calling in, and we'll talk to you soon.
All right, guys. Have a good night. Go Cats.
Go Cats.
All right. So Josh and he made a bet earlier today. He was talking about this Central Michigan and Connecticut game, Central Connecticut or something. And he made a bet because it was such a high spread. Central Michigan has 66 points in the third quarter. They're up 66-10, Josh, if you're still on with us.
Yeah. Man. Oh yeah, okay. John's saying he'll be on the podcast this weekend. So yeah, John will be on the post game show with us. So for the Southern Miss post game show. So that's right. So yes, absolutely. But hey, to kind of wrap up here, speaking of earlier today, Brad, I think you said you had a little bit of Mark Pope practice scoop. Do you want to end this football show with a little bit of basketball?
I do have a little Mark Pope practice scoop here that I thought was pretty interesting. So there is a few little tidbits here that I wanted to mention with you guys. Yeah, I saw Jeremy's playing the piano. Play me a song, you're the piano man. Okay, sorry. I could do that, but I can't play the piano. And Jeremy's a singer, so he'll appreciate that. But anyways, all right. So Mark Pope.
Oh shoot, we're getting another call.
You getting another call?
This might be a John Hammond's call. We'll see.
It could be a Jeremy. Want me to play a song?
Be. You're on with Talkin Kentucky. Who's this?
This is John. What's going on?
What's up, John? Looking forward to having you on this weekend, man.
But get away from this guy.
Glad you're making an appearance tonight. I know, right?
Yeah.
Follows me everywhere.
Who's that ugly jug you got sitting next to you, man?
He follows me everywhere, man. Guys.
Yeah. Oh, I know, man. Man, you better. Man. I know you're going to this South Carolina game, John. Man, you better pull us through in that one because that's gonna. Yeah. It really is gonna make or break the season.
So I kind of wanted to get like on a serious note here.
Yeah, man.
I've been watching Colorado.
Yeah.
And I know that everybody's kind of been, all summer. Me and Brad have been talking about, they've been hyping up Dion and whatnot, and I understand it's the first game, and there's going to be mistakes, things happen early in the first game of the season, but when you don't improve from a year ago to now, and it looks like the same exact thing, that looks like that's a problem.
That is a problem, and who knows how much longer Dion will be at Colorado. I've seen some chatter, John. I know you won't like this about Dion to the Cowboys. That's got to be, that can never happen, right? I mean, you got to stop it.
That ain't happening.
No, I agree.
Jerry Jones is not going to let that happen. I can tell you right now.
Yeah, no, I agree.
Some of these teams, you see them from a year ago, and you look at them now, and it like even tonight, NC State is struggling with Western Carolina. Like, I know it's the early on, but you should be prepared and be ready to go.
Western Carolina actually has a very good offense.
Like I said, there's going to be mistakes. There's going to be things happening. You're going to kind of try to get. They do. I'm not saying that they don't. I'm not saying that.
Yeah.
But at the same time, I just think that, some of these – that's Mom in the background, by the way. She's the dog.
Oh, good.
But I just think, sometimes that we get too enthused with how some teams play and how some teams don't. And I feel like with Dion, he's going to have to at least have a good season. Like, he's going to at least have to win 5 games this year, because I don't think going into next year he's going to be able to keep continuing to do this and expect to get better.
No, I agree with you, man. I couldn't agree more there. At some point, the hype runs out for sure, but
it does.
Yeah, before we let you go, you got a score prediction for the Cats this week?
Oh, Kentucky. 38-7. I just think Southern Miss is not that good. I don't think they're not. They've had 2 back-to-back 3-9 years. They're on the cusp of firing their coach going into the year. There's been a lot of talk of him being let go at the end of the year down there. So I expect them to come out and play hard, but I think if we've heard what we've heard about this offense Kentucky's got, I think, we're going to be pretty good. And the basketball team, me and Brad had a little combo with it last night, that the basketball team's going to be better than most people think.
I think he's getting ready to talk about that on here. Yeah.
They're going to have some experience. They're going to have some guys. Now, am I going to say they're going to be in the top 3? Probably not. But they could be probably top 6, and they can be in there. And I think there's a good chance that, it's going to be a more fundamentally coached team you'll see going into some of these games. And another thing I just wanted to say, Brad mentioned something last night. He said the whole talk will be about Cooper Flag the entire time that we're watching Kentucky.
Yep.
And I hope Kentucky lets that get into their heads, and I hope they play hard and they win that game. But anyways, I'll let y'all go. Get that jug off your screen. Like, come on now.
I'll try.
You can do better, Coleman.
I know.
You can do better, Coleman.
I'll try. Yeah, I know, right?
I'm just kidding. I love Brad.
Anybody talking about a big head? Come on now.
Well, speak of the devil, you're telling us some Mark Pope scoop, Brad. So I'll let you continue with it here.
Yeah, so there's some practice stuff that I had heard that I found that was really interesting. So they have an offense and they keep stats and they're even keeping seconds. Okay, so their goal when they get a rebound. They are trying to cross half court within 3 seconds every single time.
That's some Bush Hamden tempo there. That's good.
3 seconds now.
Yeah.
And they do this in practice every time they scrimmage. They have a clock on everything that they do. Okay. And every rebound, they are supposed to get it across half court in 3 seconds or less, no matter what's going on in the game. I found that pretty interesting.
I like
in
that.
the practice.
Yeah.
And then another thing that I found even more interesting is this. In practice, when they are playing, the game is played with a 30-second shot clock. Okay?
Mm-hmm.
Mark Pope is practicing with a 14-second shot clock, guys.
Yeah.
14 seconds on the shot clock. He is expecting his guys to get it off the boards, get down the floor, and run some sort of set to get an open shot within 14 seconds.
Now that's a change. Yeah.
What he is wanting to do is play extremely fast.
And
extremely.
That's going to be a change, right? Because we've seen this like 3-man weave around the 3-point line forever, and this is going to be quite different from that. So I like it. Yeah. Fast offense and basketball and football, Brad.
Can you imagine playing basketball and playing with that kind of tempo that you have to shoot the ball within 14 seconds and you get a shot clock buzzer going off every time you play and pick up a ball? Like, that's fast, guys. Extremely fast. And the last tidbit that I have, they have a goal as a team to have 35 3-point attempts a game.
I'm here for it. Let's bring it.
A game. That's their goal.
Wait,
BYU last year put up 32 a game. Okay.
Now, when you say 3-pointers, are you saying 3-pointers or are you saying Calipari long twos?
No, I'm saying 3-pointers.
No, that's good.
There probably won't be no long twos.
Hey, I'm all for that as well. So,
and here's the deal, though. A power conference team has never, since the 3-point line has been in existence, has never approached 35 and been over 35 3-point attempts a game. The only teams that have done it is like some of these teams, smaller school teams, have averaged like 38, 36.
Loyola Marymount, as Mike says there. So,
yeah. 14 seconds is fast, guys. I mean, and they are playing. So what I'm telling you is where, you would only get like, let's call it 100 plays in a game. He's trying to get 150 back and forth, bouncing back and forth.
14 seconds. Speaking of 14 seconds, we got some Rick Pitino comments in the feed here. So we got, is he bringing back the full court press, Ricky P style?
I don't think he's going to full court press because he is playing offense. I mean, guys, I'm going to tell you, as a basketball player, to have the stamina to go up and down the floor to play that fast offensively, every single possession, you have to be in shape like crazy. And I don't think you could do that and play that fast and still play Pitino's defense like the early years.
Jeremy's saying he's bringing back the Pitino's Bombinos type offense.
Yeah, he is bringing back. He is kind of bringing back that.
We are doing the Bombino. Yeah, that's for sure.
Yeah.
So
just to throw out a few things that I thought was really interesting. No school, power conference school, has ever averaged that many. And their goal, I'm not saying that they're going to get there, but their goal is 35 3-pointers a game. Just to take this into perception here, last year was Calipari's highest average, and they only averaged 24.
See, so, I mean, this is why people are excited about Kentucky basketball, because it's going to be a change. And that's really all we've been asking for is something different, because what we've been doing ain't been working lately. So, yeah.
Jeremy, I'm close to Bowling Green.
Jeremy says, what's y'all's score prediction?
Jeremy's close to Bowling Green as well. We both are. He's on one side. I'm on the other. I know where Jeremy's at. So, we're both close to Bowling Green. WKU plays a really fun, high-octane offense, football, and has won a lot of games, had some really good coaches over the years, including Bobby Petrino, Jeff Brom. Now you got Helton there that's doing a great job. They are going to Bama at the very beginning of the season here on Saturday. It's going to be a tough game, but, I still think WKU can put up 21 points at least. I really do. They have that kind of offense.
The spread, by the way, is 31.5. So,
Bama's going to win. This game is at home. I say give me let me think here for a minute.
I think Western drops 10 on them. I think they could do that.
I'm actually going to pick them for a little bit more than that. I'm going to go at least 3 scores. Maybe one of them's a field goal, but I actually think they can get 21. I'm going to go 45-21.
Hey, you've talked, I visited Bowling Green this summer. Brad went over to White Squirrel Brewery, and I thought they had really good beer. And I also like Western's throwback helmets that they're going to have this year. And so, yeah, you know what? I'll raise my score from 10 to 17.
My dad actually graduated from Western too. So, I mean, if in my family, if we were going to pick a second school, it would be WKU.
I'll go 42-17, Alabama. And that'll be my official prediction for that game. But,
okay.
Yeah. Well,
I mean, Bama's win. So,
Oh yeah, Bama's win. I mean, that's not a debate.
Yeah.
So y'all already knew that. So, Brad, this has been fun. 2 hours goes by in no time, man.
It does.
It's time flies when you're having fun, man. I can do this all night, and thank
Josh,
you all.
You don't want to see my special helmet.
yeah. But
me. My special helmet's really special.
Yeah, you don't see that. But so man, we can do this all night. We really appreciate you guys listening and hanging out with us, and thanks for the interaction. This is what makes the show great, when people are watching and calling in. Got 3 calls tonight, and then we got all the comments too, so that's great. And just a reminder to everybody, we're going to be doing this all season, like post game shows after every game. So
Yep.
just be sure you follow both College Sportscast and Talking Kentucky.
If I can talk them into it, we might even throw some basketball post games in here and there. So
Absolutely,
and have us on too. So
yeah, and Jeremy, yeah, you can always go back and rewatch the first part, as Jeremy says here. So
it's on both of ours. It's on College Sportscast and Talking Kentucky tonight. So you can do that.
It's going to be up on.
I'm actually doing a show tomorrow night. It'll be on at 8 Central, because I have a guy on that's working and is going to get in late. So it'll be on at 8 Central tomorrow night. I'm doing a game day pick'em show. So I'm going to be doing some of these games that we talked about tonight and doing some picks, and have a couple of guys on with me tomorrow night.
And so all our stuff is left up. Every show is left up on our Facebook and YouTube channels. And then we also post to Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and pretty much every other podcast platform you can imagine. So it's not hard to find us on the socials, Brad.
So. No, my Brad CS Cast is the Twitter there. That's the reason why I have that up there. That is my Twitter. So you can find me there on Twitter. You can also find College Sportscast on Facebook. We're growing there. And I have lots of other stuff too. And we're all over the place. Our show is on audio in Apple and Spotify and all that as well. And YouTube. Just follow College Sportscast, and you can actually Google College Sportscast, and there's a whole bunch of stuff that pops up. So we've been doing this for over 2 years. So
yeah, just Google it, Talking Kentucky or College Sportscast. Just Google us, and you'll find
a whole bunch of stuff pops up.
Big. Yeah, that's how big time we are now. Yeah, but
it's pretty cool that you can Google us. So
it is actually pretty cool. Madeline says, "What are we calling this episode, Brad?" I think we call it Talking Football. We don't have a Talking Football yet, so I think
y'all don't have a Talking Football yet.
We don't have a Talking Football, so now's as good time as it. That's what we did tonight. We just talked football, little basketball,
pretty much.
But a lot of football.
Just a touch there at the end. Yeah,
I'm going Talking Football. So yeah. Well, guys, join us here late Saturday night for our Southern Miss post-game show. Before we get out of here, Brad, we got to do score predictions for the Cats and the Golden Eagles, I think it is. So Brad, what you going with?
It's the Fighting Brett Favre's.
It's the Fighting Brett. Did Brett Favre play for them?
Yeah.
Oh, he did. Okay.
Yeah. So
he was the last time they were good.
Yeah, probably.
Okay. Gotcha.
I think he was 89, I believe, in the class of 89, I think.
Are they going to wear Wrangler jeans to warm up in? Is that going to be what they come out in? So
Brett Favre was one of my favorites. I know he's not a favorite now because of some of the stuff, but
that's true.
Dude, he was a gunslinger. I mean, I loved him. I loved watching him play. But anyway, he played at Southern Miss. He's probably the most famous football alum. Is from Southern Miss, is probably Brett Favre. So just throwing that out there.
Okay.
Score prediction, the 28 points sounds high to me. I've never seen Stoops come out with a throttle that high, to be honest with you. Of course, we've never had Bush Hamden, so I don't know if they're going to come out in that hurry up and they're going to come out with some gas, to be honest with you. So I'm going to go, I think I'm going to go. I'm going to do a weird score and call it. I'm going to do it a little less than the 28. I'm going to do it 37-10.
37-10. Okay, I like that, Brad.
Which would be like 3 field goals and 4 touchdowns.
Hey, we might get a lot of field goals with this kicker, by the way. Which he's kicking. I mean, he kicked in their scrimmage the other day, Brad. He kicked 3 60-yarders, made all 3 of them.
Yeah, the freshman, he's got a leg.
He's got quite a leg. So we're going to see some field goals this year, guys. Mike says, "Where's Caden?" Mike, he's in Hawaii. He's on that Matt Jones vacation time. So yeah,
we dropped him off, in the Caribbean somewhere, and he took a boat up to Hawaii.
He's in Hawaii. So, but he'll be back. He'll be back on next week. So we'll be able to talk with him next week. But
he's had a terrible time in Hawaii.
Yeah, terrible. Terrible. Awful. Jeremy says Caden got lost in Myers. Yeah, he's out there. He's just signing too many autographs in Myers lately, Brad. That's what he's doing. He's still signing autographs there. But
okay.
Hey, you said 37-10. I think the Cats break 40. I'm going 42-10, Brad. I like your 10, but I'm going 42. I think they break into that. Bushampton gets in the 40s. And I think the Cats are 1-0 going into a big game against South Carolina and Lexington week 2.
So, and I'm ready to lay the wood to the Gamecocks.
Yeah, please. And we can talk more about that after we take care of
next week. But yes, I'm telling y'all, I'm ready to lay the wood to the Gamecocks.
That's right. Absolutely.
SEC doormat, South Carolina. One fan held.
Yeah, that's what we're doing. So. Well, for Coleman Scott and for Brad Harvey, this has been episode number 107 of Talkin' Kentucky. We'll see you guys on Saturday after the game. Go Cats. And it's football time in the Bluegrass.
Woohoo.